All right. What's up, Blaster Master?
What's up?
So, you and
Finally.
I have been talking for some time about the subject we're going to cover today, and I know this is kind of all of a sudden and out of the blue, and nobody knew this was coming. We kind of um, things happened fast, and we were like, well, let's go talk about this real quick, and we weren't sure how we wanted to approach it. Um, One of my things is I've always I'm big about community and stuff, and I've always been big about standing up for people in the community and myself in this case, I guess, but um, the community in general, and there's been like I guess really the person that said these things. I'm not going to tell you his channel and all that stuff. I'm not gonna give anybody any reason to go find it and look him up. I call him Corky. That's not even his real name. Uh, he's a piece of shit, but I'm not gonna give any more attention to his channel than it already has. Not one person needs
He
to
doesn't
go.
deserve it.
Yeah, he does not deserve not one more view. The and before we get going into the things that he said about the atheist community and how we address those things, a little bit of background. So, some of you might have noticed last week, this video was actually scheduled to take place then. Hi, Pepper. Hi, Al. Hi, Claire. Um, this video was scheduled on my channel to take place then, and I got an email, and if need be, if anybody needs to see proof of it, if it comes up or whatever, I can show that this is true. Uh, I got an email saying if you show anything of mine online or anything, I'm gonna take legal action against you, and you don't have my permission, and you have to take down all the old videos that have me in it and everything. And my response was pretty much at first, fuck you. Fair use is a thing. Here's the fair use doctrine. Take it and read it. And I said, I said the thing of it is I'm known to be like a really nice guy. And instead of sending me legal threats, why didn't you just talk to me? Like you could have just asked me not to do it. And at that point, he backed off and then wanted to have a conversation asking me not to do it. And I kind of took it as he was lashing out like a child at first. And so then whenever he had that talk, his channel's smaller. He's kind of a strange cookie. So I was like, all right, look, I won't make the video, like I won't make the video and cause you any trouble or whatever. And I'll even go that old video you're talking about. You're the only one watching it, but I'll go take it down if that'll make you feel better. So I tell Blaster Master because we had this already. We were ready to go. We had clips and everything we were going to talk about, and I'm not going to show his channel at all on here today, but we had stuff ready to go, and I said, you know what? I said, let's not do it. He asked me not to do it. I said I wouldn't. His channel's smaller than mine, not by a whole lot. It's about half the size. Uh, according to him, he gets way more views and comments and everything than I do. But that's questionable. But his channel's smaller than mine. And so I said, hey, like, we won't do it. And I took that other stuff down. Chill out. And so he backed off of that stuff, and we started to talk a little bit. And he had made all these videos calling atheists liars and different stuff. And we'll get into we have actual quotes of the things he said. We'll talk about in a minute. But all those things he had said, I thought, well, this is an opportunity. I can try and talk to him and explain why, like you shouldn't make these big general statements and why people are possibly treating you the way they are, and help him to better understand a way to address these things without being inflammatory and without being a troll, which is
Antagonistic.
what is it?
I said he's antagonistic and provocative.
Oh, very much so, very much so. And his channel, I don't even know what the name of it is now, actually, because he's changed it like 5 times and what it's about, and turned comments on and off, and done all kinds of stupid shit. Because every time someone challenges him on something, he deletes the comment and then says they're attacking him, and calls all
They're a troll.
yeah, they're trolls. And so anyway, Corky has been featured on this channel before, back in the day when Azo was co-hosting and stuff. In fact, it's one of the last few things he and I did together was cover some of this stuff. And just to be clear, I've invited him on. He multiple times. I've told him when I was responding to his stuff and things and all that. He always
He was
had a
supposed to be
heads up.
here today.
He was supposed to originally be here today.
Right.
But that last night I had a conversation with a couple people, and while I was having that conversation, making the decision to back down on letting him come on, he was going to come on through a phone call. While I was having that conversation, he messaged me and called me a liar and all kinds of shit, and said he this is what atheists do and all this stuff. And
you're just like the other women, Joe. You're just like all the other women.
Yeah.
Just a liar.
That's another thing.
You broke his heart.
Well, I want to bring that up while we're talking about this subject, because there's another person that frequents here, Master Pastor, that says shit like that.
Oh yeah, dude.
And I'll talk about that.
Is he my alter ego?
Yeah. He makes weird videos and tags me, and I'm like, like he's always driving, and you can hear him driving real fast, and he makes these videos like, I'm going to a devil's hell and all this stuff. And I was like, is this dude on his way to Ashland? Like, what's going on? Like, because he's from Kentucky, I think. I'm not even sure, but
you've seen these strange vehicles parked out front of your house, just be careful.
Any strange vehicles park on this road, somebody will probably steal the tires off of it. But,
nobody's coming into your neighborhood. That's right. You mentioned that before. You're like, good luck.
That's why I never worry about things, because it's like, if you're going to come here and mess with me, you're probably going to find out that Kentucky is not friendly to that kind of thing. Somebody will end up getting you before you get here. But
smell it.
Yeah. You got to remember, everybody here has like 6 guns. So not me. I don't have any. But anyway, we're not going, like I said, we were going to show clips and stuff and talk about, do a regular response video. And we talked about it, and we're like, hell with that. We're not giving him the attention. We're not giving him the views. We'll just talk about the things that are claimed. He's hyper obsessive,
or the ability to strike you like he said he wanted to.
Yeah. He's hyper obsessive about this stuff. Like, he was making like 20 videos a day at one time. So I'm sure he's watching probably right now, and we'll watch it 6 times, and we'll make videos about it for the next 3 days. But I won't see them, and neither will you. So perfect.
I'll watch them for you guys. Don't worry.
Now, don't you find it funny that he always goes on and he's like, I get 600 comments an hour, and he told me yesterday, he said, I think I've gotten 40 subscribers this week. He's gotten 9 since I've known of the channel.
Right. I was his 4th subscriber on his other channel.
Yeah. And
he complained to you immediately about it, remember? He went to you and said, he was like, oh, why did he subscribe to my channel? I'm like, bro, it's a public platform. You're a cow. You're a almost cow.
I think that he bought a membership under a fake name.
Yeah.
I have a good idea which one it is, because he messaged me after he had threatened to sue me and all the stuff, and I didn't make the video. He messaged me and he said, your members video, you weren't showing my stuff or talking about me, was you? And I was like, dude, no, like, you don't live in my head that much. Like, I don't even think about you.
Right.
I was going to make a video about it because that's what I do. But like, You know.
I mean, I have this thing. Everyone knows, like, well, I've talked about this many times to people that I go on YouTube and I search the word atheist and I look for people responding to atheists or talking to atheists, and I look for people that want to engage with us and have honest conversations. Corky is not one of those people.
Right, right. But he had it was clickbait, right?
Yes,
Because
yeah.
he named a channel in a way that with atheist in the title.
Mm-hmm. And he
We ain't gonna
tags
say it, but
atheists in
well,
every video.
it
So
was
when I
atheist.
was searching the term atheist, he would pop up and I would just hit like for today, for the videos for today. I
Yeah,
would get like 10 videos from him in that day would pop up. So it's hard. I mean, there's a lot of people that search for terms like that, just because you're
yeah,
just looking for people to talk to. I've
right.
had really good conversations with people, and plenty of them.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
go on
Theist and
and
atheist alike. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Like, I'm
mean,
not aggressive. I'm not a mean person. Like, I'm not out to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm a healer. I like to heal people. I don't want to hurt them. Right.
man, like I think the people watching right now and the people that watch this later that know you and I from the community
Mm,
will like know that these things we're going to talk about do not describe us in any way whatsoever.
right.
Like
Right.
if you want to call me a liar, I challenge anyone to find anything I've ever knowingly lied about. Like even if I've like even things that I've gotten wrong in the past, I've made apology videos for getting them wrong. Like,
Right.
um,
But being mistaken does not mean you're lying either.
well, I know that's what I'm
Like,
saying though.
he doesn't even know what a lie is. He thinks a lie is just, oh, this person's convinced that this is true, so therefore, and that's not true from what I understand. So therefore, they're lying.
They
That's not what a
disagree.
lie is.
They
Yeah,
disagree with my view of the Bible, so they must be lying. Yeah,
yeah, that's not a lie. That's not
yeah,
what a lie is.
yeah.
Okay, this is how we need to start this. For one thing, he doesn't understand how words work
No,
or how definitions work. He doesn't
no.
understand that words have usages, not strict definitions. And he doesn't understand the definitions or the definitions that people are using for the words they're using. Even when it's talking about like something like circular reasoning,
Yeah.
he doesn't know what that is. Did he take the time to go look up what is circular reasoning before making a video about it? No.
I explained yesterday. Actually, I talked to him on the phone before all that happened, and I was explaining to him how like what certain fallacies are and how they work. Like I explained the no true Scotsman fallacy and circular reasoning and straw man. And like I broke them down and gave him examples and explained how they're used. And I said, look, I get it. Like I said, some atheists are also guilty of like throwing around fallacies and not knowing what the hell they're talking about.
Or
Like
the fallacy where it's like you're wrong because that's a fallacy and that's not necessarily true.
right, dismissing the whole argument because they committed a fallacy is
Mm-hmm.
fallacy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to explain to him fallacies are about the arguments. They're not like you can't like it's whenever like for a straw man, for example, it's not just that you misrepresent the person. It's that you make a misrepresentation and then you argue against that misrepresentation. It's about the argument, right?
Yeah.
And circular reasoning is when you have you're well, I mean, I guess the easy way to say it is the conclusion informs the premise and the premise informs the conclusion, right?
Right.
And it goes around in circles. That's like saying, well, I believe the Bible is true because the Bible says it's true.
Right.
And right. So,
I have a quote from him on here where he talks about just that.
well, let's start there.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it. It's one of these. One of these atheists. Okay, yeah, here we go. You don't even know the definition of circular. A question was asked, and a question was answered from the Bible. And a question was answered, and I put in quotes from the Bible, right? Because he's
Yeah.
saying, here's how you answer the question. That's a direct response. Okay, this doesn't make a lot of sense because a lot of what he says, he just kind of talks about something someone else said and he paraphrases it, and he's really, so bear with me, not my fault that he talks this way.
Yeah, he's not
Let
very
me start
direct.
over. Yeah, you don't even know the definition of circular. A question was asked and a question was answered from the Bible. That's a direct response, not a circular response. Atheists will tell you that's circular. Again, this is why I say they are little kids. They have the intellect of a child. That's not circular logic. That's a direct response. Now, what an atheist will do is definitely projecting, which is what they always accuse us of doing. And that's my second point, projecting. They ask a question, I answer directly, and they respond with the same rebuttal they did before. Then they create a diversion, change the subject, and come back with the original point as if as if we never discussed it. Put another quarter in the merry-go-round, and here we go again. That's what atheists do. They go around and around and around.
Yeah.
So he thinks circular logic is asking the same question by pointing out, hey, you didn't actually answer my question, and usually your answer involves circular reasoning. And then he will go, oh, you're actually using circular reasoning.
Because
You're
I've
just
answered
asking.
what you asked.
Yeah.
Because we're going in circles, right?
Yeah. That's what he thinks circular reasoning is.
Yeah. And I tell people, if you don't really have an understanding of what fallacies are and stuff, like
Don't talk about them.
don't use them, because you sound stupid to anybody that does. Like you really take away from your credibility. Like, I'll bring up fallacies sometimes, like in certain situations, but you rarely hear me talk about logical fallacies. Like, it's just not something, because number one, I don't need to say that. And also, I don't want to perpetuate that, like people not understanding what I mean by that fallacy and then going and trying to use it some
So
other way.
what I do, rather than bringing up, hey, that's a fallacy, I'll just use the fallacy in a different question, like if they're using a god as an example, I will use something other than a god to take the bias
Yeah.
out of the situation and be like, does that sound like a good argument to you? Let them soak in it.
Right. Yeah. Instead of like pointing out that it's a fallacy doesn't really do anything,
No, it doesn't.
because then you still have to explain why it was a fallacy. So why not just skip that and give them an example of their fallacy in a different way so that they can see
Mm-hmm.
it? Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I think that's a good idea. Um,
You have to put on your kid gloves when you're dealing with these people because they're very sensitive.
Yeah, I don't. One of the things that I told him a number of times was, you need to stop with this lumping all atheists together. Like, you've a number of times, and his most recent video that was directed at me personally, with my name in the
Yes.
title and my
He
name.
deleted that. I wish I would have recorded it. Sorry, I didn't.
I have it, I think, but
Okay, good.
he I knew he would too. But he made a video and he called me personally a liar and said that I said all these false things about Ken Ham and all that stuff. And what had happened was that how that occurred was he was supposed to call in and he was going to talk about how he he thinks that places like AIG and the televangelists and stuff are bad people. Like even though he's a Christian, he was going to say, I don't support the things they do. He says they're not Christians, but that's a whole nother box of worms. But
Yeah.
and another fallacy, right? But the like I didn't the reason that he did that was because we had vaguely went over what we were going to do, and he wasn't scheduled to come on until like the 29th, I think. It was going to be today, but then I changed it because of other stuff going on, and he had
Mm-hmm.
other stuff going on and everything. And I was like, well, let's just wait till the 29th and then we'll talk about it. And I'll make a whole thing about it, like where I talk about, just because somebody's a Christian doesn't mean they support the awful things that all these other places do and things, and they're willing
Yeah, of
to
course.
expose harm. It was a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to work with him and be cool about it and stuff. Well, while I was doing the member stream last night, he starts messaging me and saying, I looked up Ken Ham and I can't see where he was in court and all that fraud stuff you talked about and all this and that. And I was like, I said, hold on. I said, I'm doing a member stream. I'll send you the links as soon as I'm done, because it was very public. Like there's all kinds of information out there about it.
He's also and I just saw a video of his, and he's like, yeah, I looked it up in the state is it in Kentucky? Is that where it's at?
Kentucky.
Is that where the ark is? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's like, it's in Kentucky, and I looked up all that, and I looked up all this, and I was like, did you actually? I Googled it. Like, I actually Googled Ken Ham.
It comes up right away, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of them do. Well, he's also being sued in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you look up Australia? Because he's Australian, right? Like, he's not from here originally.
Yeah.
And his ministry spans the globe. He's split in half with AIG, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Ken Ham personally is being sued in Australia. AIG is actually the entity that ended up being sued here.
Right.
Because AIG owns the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum in Kentucky. And the thing that I was talking about, which he before I could get done with the stream, he had messaged me again and said I was a liar and all this other shit, and he was blocking me and not talking to me anymore. And I told him to eat shit. But the and that's a direct quote. I can show that.
So. Rightfully so.
But I don't tell lies. I've told enough lies to last me a lifetime.
I've seen some of the texts he sent you. They're not very nice at all. I'll just say that.
Right. And so anyway, though, the thing I was talking about, which is an absolute fact, and in fact, our Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, was his attorney, one of his attorneys for this. So, I mean, it's not like this stuff isn't public information that's easy to find. I think he was just a chicken shit and didn't want to do the video, and so he made that stuff up.
Yeah, I think he will use any excuse and probably make any excuse. He doesn't want to. Okay.
He didn't want to be caught being nice.
I kind of have this saying where it's like, if you're going to act like a kid, you belong at the kids' table, and that's where you should sit. And you can let the adults sit at the adult table, and they will have the adult conversations while you are over at the kids' table. Yeah, and that's kind of where he put himself.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, at first, whenever I first seen his stuff, and especially the obsessive way that he made so many videos every day and like all that, I was like, what's up with this person? Is there like
super antagonistic?
Is all the videos are very antagonistic? Yeah, but also I was like, is there like like something wrong here? Should I not respond to it? Like, am I like hating on somebody that has a mental illness or whatever? But after talking to him, I don't think that's the case. I just think he's a smug asshole. Like, I don't think
that's the impression I get too. I think that I know he does have health issues, and that has some sort of mental tax on him. I'm sure it does.
Well, it's awful that somebody is such a smug asshole that you confuse it with mental illness. Like, I mean,
Poe's law, right? Poe's law. Yeah. You can't tell if they're insane or if they're the real deal. If they really believe it. You got to be a
special kind of prick for that. Like,
yeah. It's it's like, you're such a dick. Are you trolling us or what? Like, I can't figure it out.
And the things with AIG and Ken Ham, I had said, they had been sued, and he tried to sell it to his nonprofit for $10, and then they stepped in that, and then the state sued him and took away his tax rebates, but a federal judge gave him back. Like, I didn't go into the specifics. Like, I just said he had been sued, and there was a lot of controversy over it.
And he was like, "No, you're lying."
Well, I'm going to be organizing the Ark Encounter protest this year, and these are things that I know about, right? Like, do you think I can do an Ark Encounter protest and go down there and say things like that aren't true? Like, that wouldn't work at all. That would be a bad day altogether.
You have to be informed of what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, like, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Like, this is something me and Dave have covered Ken Ham and AIG and their schemes a number of times. Like, his plane going to the Caymans and stuff. Yeah. We didn't make that up. We seen it. We know that it happened.
I remember that. Yeah.
So.
I've known Ken Ham since the 90s. He used to visit my church when I was in the 90s.
Right.
Yeah. I've met all these apologists.
Yeah, you had Kent Hovind too, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, that story about that he likes to tell about his son, about whipping his son's butt in the dental office, that happened in my dad's office.
Oh, the beating the kid thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because my dad would do dentistry. My dad's dental office was on the same block as the church, and he'd do dentistry on the guests that would come to the church for free, as like, you know.
Yeah. Pinworm sent in a $5 super chat. There's a freedom one gets when one comes to the realization that some people are just assholes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, there's the saying misery loves company. And I think that's, you know, kind of what's going on. Like,
I like to give as people as much grace as possible. But when they repeatedly show that they have none themselves.
Yeah. Like, how ironic is, I mean, it's not ironic because it happens all the time, I guess. I mean, for real. I mean, if you just go by the scripture and stuff, it's ironic. But you've got uh, a self-proclaimed Christian who's coming on video, and his only purpose is to cast judgment onto atheists.
Oh yeah, I have a purpose. There is one purpose, or I have a quote here. Ready? I got another quote.
Yeah.
There is one purpose for why I go online and speak about atheism. It's not to convert. It's one thing. It's not to convert. I don't expect any of you to convert. You're pig-headed. You like to lie. You spread lies about the Bible. My mission is to show those lies, the rhetoric, the MO, the word usage, the word games, the manipulation, the entrapments, and to show what atheists do. Okay? That's my purpose. My purpose is not to convert you. My purpose is to show theists what they do and to show atheists that I'm on to them.
He's on to us. Cancel the baby for tonight. He's on to us.
I'm so scared.
Yeah. He's the Inspector Gadget in the fucking RV. He's on to us. Fucking.
I'm sorry, it's too much. It's like,
I mean, look,
when I was typing this down, because I was like sitting here transcripting it, and I could have got he deleted the video, right? But I have a copy of the video, and I was just transcripting it, like typing it, and I'm just like, I can't believe he's actually saying this crap.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. and the thing of it is, he deleted all of his videos, right?
Yeah,
like because he knew this was coming. I told him, I said, look, I said, I won't make the video, but somebody else will. I said, like, I said, you can't just sit and call people names and say all this shit and then get upset when
tag atheist 10 times a day and not expect to get pushback.
Yeah. Like, you can't be upset that somebody's going to respond to you on a platform that's kind of made for this. Like, you make a video, I make a response, you respond. That's like, this is social media. That's how it works. And
Thanks,
like,
Spooky.
I am perfectly free to respond to you in any way I like. He said that because of my old video being up, that's why all the atheists were coming to his channel and making personal attacks against him, calling him ugly and saying all these awful personal things. And I said, I don't condone that behavior. And I said, I'm very vocal about that all the time. Like, if people are calling you names and stuff, those people are shitty people. Like, like if they've made personal attacks against you, that's shitty. Even if you're saying shitty stuff about them, that's no reason to do that. Like, they don't have to behave in the same way you do. And, you know, so in the video in question too, I say in that video, don't go bother him. Don't go send him any messages on my behalf. I don't need you to do that. And, you know, it's whatever. But he constantly does this thing where his other videos, and it's good he took him down, because he changes the whole reason that he's making the videos and why the channel's there and what it's for and all those things over and over and over repeatedly. And he wants to do this lump all atheists together all the time, but even he isn't consistent in the things that he calls us. Other than stupid and liars, he says that in almost every video. But then in the most recent video, when he's calling me a liar and stupid, he says, I'm not saying all atheists are liars, but he said that over and over and over.
Here, I got quotes for that one too.
Yeah.
Do not ever trust an atheist. they're immoral, they're liars, they're about trickery, entrapment, and doing everything they can to snare you to make you mad. They have absolutely zero purpose other than to make you mad.
Cry me a fucking river.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just because you get upset that atheists understand your book better than you do and know what's in it better than you do and correct you on the stupid wrong things you say does not mean that they're trying to entrap and snare you. When you go on there, we treat each other this way too. When I come on here, if I say something wrong, 5 people in the chat will say, that's not right. You said this wrong thing. And they correct me on it. The difference is that I look at that and say, oh, I need to correct that. And I go,
you're like, good, I can be corrected on something I was mistaken about. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. With him, he's never wrong.
It's rage.
Chattel slavery is the example that comes to mind, because he says chattel slavery is never mentioned in the Bible and isn't
Right.
a thing and all that stuff. And he said also it's not like the chattel slavery in America. They didn't. And I said, you do know they used the Bible to justify that, right? Like, and chattel just means property, and that is in the Bible. And he conceded a little bit when I said that personally, of course, not on video, but
Right.
like he says that it's not there and stuff. And so a number of people have told him, like, hey, the Bible does have this thing in it. It's very well known that it's there. Like,
we have Dr. Josh. Go listen to him.
I think it's what, Exodus 21, right? That's one of the few verses most atheists know. I think that's where it starts anyway. And so it's fine that you get this thing wrong about the Bible, but then whenever somebody tells you, you say, well, my dad has a degree in theology, and so I've always, talked to him, and I've studied these things, and I use Strong's commentary and blah, 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 and all this bullshit. And it's like...
Yeah, I wish I had a dad quote. I don't have any dad quotes, man.
Yeah.
Didn't get to one of those.
He said, well, my dad tells me this, and my dad tells me that, which later to find out that's not true, or at least it's not currently true. I'm not going to get into it, but like his dad isn't capable of telling him the things that he says that he tells him. But with that, he says, well, all of our friends and stuff, they see how well I know the Bible, and they say you're smarter than somebody with a theology degree, and you know the Bible better than the scholars do. And he just says all this ridiculous stuff, and it's like, okay, that's like my girlfriend goes to another school.
When I want to learn what's in the Bible, I go to biblical scholars. I don't go to people like Corky.
Yeah. And the thing of it is we talked about a few of those things, and I would say the Bible says this, and he was like, yeah, but it means this. And I was like, keep an eye on that, guys. But he'll say, like, the Bible says this thing, and I'm like, well, yeah, let's talk about that. And we would talk about it, and he'll be like, well, no, it means this. And I'm going to say, well, that's not the scholarly position on it, nor is it the position of anyone else I've ever talked to. And like, it's fine that you think that, and that's your belief, and that's cool. Like, I respect that. Like, you can interpret it whatever way you want. Everybody else does, right? So like, but the thing of it is like, I'm reading it and it says these words. Why is your interpretation any better than this other one? Like, and how do you decide that? And my dad, my
dad and the commentary.
Commentary. Well, I actually caught him on that. He got mad at me, and he got mad at. Sorry, I get sidetracked. He got mad at me, and he said, because he was saying that what it said about I want to say, yeah, it was slavery actually. And he was saying, well, I read this and that. And I said, really? Let's go look and see what it says. So I pulled it up, and it agreed with me. Yeah. And then at that point, he moved the goalposts again. It was like, well, it's this other thing and all this shit. And I was like, okay, well, clearly, like, we're not going to get anywhere with
So
that. Like,
that's one of my biggest complaints about this person is he doesn't engage in honest, like an honest interlocutor. He doesn't have what he lacks any sort of like charity, right? Intellectual charity or honesty.
yeah.
And to me, that's a major turnoff in general. But
Yeah.
Just like from any person that talks that way, I'm like, ugh, I don't like that. I don't enjoy conversing with people like that. But then when you weaponize that sort of thing and turn it into like a way to attack people, that's when it becomes like, I'm just like, you're just kind of a clown, aren't you? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few of those around sometimes.
Yeah, there are. There's some. There's more than one, for
Yeah,
sure.
more than one. So he, it's like I tried to, because I was trying to be like understanding and like I kind of felt like it was okay. He lives in this RV. He's probably kind of lonely or whatever, and that's why he's making videos and stuff. But then he like shits on anybody who does interact with him, unless they agree with him.
And he says he's an even bigger asshole in person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, now I understand the living situation.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
I thought about that too. I thought, yeah, they bought an RV to fucking get your ass out of the house.
Yeah, because nobody wants to fucking be around you.
Yeah, because you're a miserable fuck. But it's so much fun to watch that. But
do you want to hear the why is it not a good idea to have conversations with atheists quote?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Why is it not a good idea to get into conversations with atheists if you're a theist? Because this is an easy point. You're not going to convince them. They're not going to convince you. Before they start speaking, they know they're not going to convince you. You know you're not going to convince them.
Yeah.
He goes on to say in another video that this was a funny one. I don't know if I got to type this one down, this quote, but I'll just paraphrase his argument, was that, it's, if you're a non-believer, why do you care about people that believe in a God? You shouldn't give a crap. You shouldn't care what others believe if you're a non-believer. It shouldn't matter to you at all. And my point to that would be like, do you think your beliefs exist in a vacuum? Do you think that other people's beliefs, that religion doesn't affect individuals and society as a whole? And do you not think that's enough reason for us to be concerned with it?
Yeah. He doesn't make much sense on a lot of that stuff because, and that goes back to the like talking to people and stuff. Like, it's not like, first of all, while I don't go into the conversation looking for anyone to be convinced or for them to convince me, I am open to assessing whatever it is they say and making decisions then. Like it's not.
I'm open to changing my mind.
Yeah. My mind may be set on some things but it's based on an understanding. But that the understanding as a whole, my mind can be changed. I'm not saying it can't. Well, but like whenever we talk, like for example, the thing on chattel slavery, like you're not going to I know you're not going to convince me that chattel slavery wasn't the thing. And clearly, since you don't take criticism or anything at all, you're not going to listen to me. But right. I think it's still worth. I was explaining to him not to convince him, but to explain why he keeps getting all these comments that people disagree with him, and what to look at what historians and scholars have to say about it, because even like you don't have to trust atheists on this. Like, look at what your own people have to say about it. Like you're kind of lonely on this one, like, and I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to guide you in the direction so that you can have a more informed stance. Like it was never to convince him of anything. And to my knowledge, he's never tried to convince anyone of anything. He just bitches. He just calls people names and
yeah. I I don't even think he really conversed with me more than like once or twice, honestly, the whole entire time I talked to him, like online, like just through text alone, just like making comments in his on a couple of his videos. He told Joe, and he's made a video about me saying that I made 100 comments a day on his videos, which it would be 4 an hour.
You were his number 3 worst troll, he said.
I think it was number 2 in that
Number
video.
2, yeah, maybe it was number 2. Yeah, he said that you troll him constantly, and you're one of the ones that he spends a lot of time on and all this other stuff, and I told him, I was like, well, that's not what he tells me, and I said,
If I responded like on his videos, I probably made like a couple comments here and there. Like he'd put out like 10 videos a day. Like this was probably 6 months ago or a year, whenever it was. It was like a year ago whenever we first responded to him, right? When we first found him.
What? Yeah, you know what's funny? I guess it's the title of this video or whatever. But like we have all the Jesus freaks in chat, like
oh boy,
Jesus freaking each other.
I know, I see that they're fighting amongst themselves. Let the snake bite its own tail. That's fine.
They all hate each other just as much as they hate us. You know.
Yeah.
No hate like Christian love, right? But yeah, it's been like because it's frustrating because you want to like atheist content and the atheist community itself, and this is something that I've talked about recently, is like you kind of get the idea that it's just about arguing with people because that's all the bigger channels have is call-ins where they bitch at Christians and scream at them and act like assholes, and like you kind of get the idea that it's all about
because that's what gets views.
Right, it's provocative. Yeah.
That's what gets views. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Like if you actually want to talk to a Christian, you don't treat them like that. You don't.
Right. Well, I think it's provocative in the same way that Corky's provocative, though, just the opposite side of the point.
Right. He is trying to do the opposite of that. But at least the atheists will actually converse with the other side.
Well, they give reasons, and I mean, I just take it to you have an educated person trying to do it versus an uneducated person trying to do the opposite, right? And like he's looking at the big picture and interpreting it completely wrong, and
there's a lot of Dunning-Kruger going on.
Yeah, quite a bit. Those videos though, like, and I'm not hating on the line and stuff and those bigger channels because I do like what they do for our community in a way. I like that people who come into our community or people that have questions or whatever can see conversations and see the rebuttal to some of the things that they believe and stuff. So I think that it's able to to be really good in that way. But I also think that it gives like a negative, like people from the outside looking in, it gives a negative idea of what the atheist community in general is.
I want to set like a model of behavior that I see the same model of behavior that I want from other people, right? So I try to be as nice and polite and as kind and as charitable and patient with people as I can be. And I go out of my way to help explain things to people, and they still get offended.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can only do so much to help people. You know, you can only lead the horse to water. You can't force them to drink, sort of thing. Right?
Right.
So, but that doesn't mean I give up on people. And, you know, the whole idea that you can't change people's minds, that's bullshit. I have done it personally multiple times. I've had many roommates that deconverted while living with me. So it's a thing. It happens.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there are a lot of people that are willing to have meaningful conversations, and sometimes you have to like you can't just jump in and say you're wrong and your religion's evil and so are you. Like you can't do that. Like and there's
I got a good quote for that. You want to hear this quote?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is him talking about a video. So when I did a video yesterday, someone told me that atheists respond to me because of the way I respond to them. And I can tell you that's trash, utter trash. And I'll tell you why that's trash. If you look at any Christian channel where they don't respond, you will see the same responses. Does it have to do with how I reply, or does it have to do with how the atheists respond? I have seen a few Christian channels that reply very minimally, and they get the same responses as I get on my own channel when I say, "You made an idiot comment," or "Wear your dunce hat proudly," or "Boy, that was a clown statement. How old are you?" They get mad, they whine and complain, say that I'm trolling them, even though they came to my channel. But you know what? Here's the real truth. You reply the same whether I reply to you or not. It doesn't make any difference. And it is not an absolute personal thing between you and me. It's a personal thing between Satan and God. You're working for the enemy, I'm working for God, and that threatens you and makes you mad.
Yeah. Yeah. And B, he does. This person has 4 channels, actually, at least 4.
Yeah.
But we're not. I'm not giving out any links today.
He's sitting at the kids' table where he belongs.
Yeah. See you, Dave. I'll send everybody over there in a minute, and I'll come join you guys.
Yeah, well,
what
we don't
is
have
it?
to be here forever. We can do a part 2 if we need to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there will be some stupid ass response to this, but
yeah, that might be fun to respond to.
Yeah. There'll be another.
10 videos.
There'll be another 10 videos tomorrow,
and half of them get deleted.
Yeah, that'll all get deleted as soon as they get put up.
Yeah.
Why does he lie about like the traffic on his channel? That's what I couldn't see.
Well, he might have a channel or two that's a little bit more popular. I think he does get some views, but he doesn't get as nearly as many as he does. He just exaggerates.
Well,
he's just one of those people that's like one-upper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I even told him. I said, people can like check what you're saying, right? Like,
right.
Like I can go look up like the traffic on your channel, and I can see your subscribers and stuff just by going to your channel. Like
Yeah, there's a thing called Social Blade that allows you to access that data.
Yeah.
Just so you know, there, Corky.
Yeah, he messaged me and was like, he said, he said, "You've got a lot of subscribers. Why does your channel not get any views?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, like, my channel does all right, I think, for the number of subscribers. Like, and I said, also, those people that watch my live videos, they show up and stay for like 2 hours. Like,
yeah.
Like, so, like, I don't put out 20 videos a day. Like, I go and I do a live a couple times.
And one of them gets views and the rest of them get 0.
Yeah. And he would be like, he said, "Well, I got 21,000 views in the last like 4 or 5 days or something."
And I go play the algorithm. Who cares?
Yeah, well, the thing of it is, though, is I go look at I pull up his channel and I scroll down through his videos, and he's got one video that's got like 1,600 views or something. Like, it did okay, and other than that, like 90% of them have less than 10 views,
right?
And some of them have no views, and I was like, why are you like
Are you fronting, bro?
Why are you asking? Why are you even doing that? Like, just and it's always like this. I feel like he knows. He has to like know that.
Why are you posturing? He's just posturing. It's all posturing, right?
Yeah.
It's like he's really insecure about shit, so he has to put on a front and blah blah blah. Blah, blah. Corky, I feel bad for you, man. I really wish you were able to engage in honest conversations and talk to me. I'm not here to get you or anything. I just think people like you are interesting. I follow lots of people online. Like, you're not the only one. Trust me, you're not the only lol cow out there, dude. At all.
No. Yeah, he, and I was trying to engage with conversation with him.
I want to help people make better arguments. If he's making a bad argument, I want to help him stop making a bad argument. That's the only reason I would ever engage with him, basically. It'd be like, hey, let me help you not make such a shitty fucking argument. And he would get triggered by that. And it's like, okay, well, that's on you, I guess. You know, if you want to be fallacious, go for it.
I tried to explain that to him too. I told him I do the same thing. I said I will go to other channels and like if like I'll help them make better arguments
Yeah.
because like I think that the higher quality the discourse we're having, like the better, you know. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. He also has this thing where he thinks there's no such thing as like right wing atheists, and I was like,
Well, I
there's
can
like,
introduce you to a few if you want.
yeah, I was like, like there's
I'm
like,
not going to mention them publicly right now because I don't fucking want them to get any tread. But yeah,
yeah, I told him, I said, there's like whole big groups and they're huge that
and
do
they're
that, and
assholes.
yeah, and I said,
The
he's
Christians
like,
love them.
he said, there's no such thing as a Republican atheist. I said, Azzo was a Republican, right? Like my co-host that you interacted with was a Republican. Like,
There's no such thing as a log cabin Republican either, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. He just the amount of stupid things that comes out of his mouth, and it's like what you said though. Like, look, I would be more than happy to have like some sort of civil engagement, but I've tried that, and twice now it's blew up in my face to where he
Yeah.
ends up calling me names, and he goes on his, even after the first time, like after I sent the email saying I wouldn't do the video. You know what he did that day? He made a video responding to my Sunday stream with Dave,
I
but
remember that.
he didn't use my name or anything like that.
But it was
But
clearly responding to you.
he told me later that it was to me. But
Yeah.
he in that video he calls me stupid and all kinds of stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like, really, dude? Like I was cool and like backed off and stuff, and this is what you did in response to it. Like you're kind of a piece of shit, Corky, and like I hope that you can change that. I hope that you
Grow the fuck up.
yeah, I mean, I hope that you don't take this video and make more content of the same and just say that we're liars and all this and that. Because if you do that, I will show the clips and the sources and all of the shit that shows that you're full of shit. So I would be real careful about how you approach it. And if you threaten me with legal action again, you better be ready to go, bitch. Like that's
And
all
you
I
better
have to
be
say.
able to take on the rest of YouTube because we can make that publicly known that you're doing that. And
Yeah,
YouTube doesn't, even Christians don't take that shit lightly. So you're
yeah,
going to get the wrath of the entire YouTube on you.
yeah. But yeah, all that being said, I hate to have a stream where we have to come and be negative and look at just negative stuff and things. But this has been going on for a minute, and while there's not a ton of people seeing it, like these kind of people are out there. Don't engage with them. Don't give them the time. Don't like he said there's a lot of atheists that come and just call him names and harass him and stuff. Like if you're somebody that goes out and trolls Christians, like that's your thing, whatever. Like I'm not
Well,
telling you can't do that, but like if you're serious about activism and stuff like that, don't engage with people like this. Don't engage with the Corkies and the Jim Bobs of the world. Just let them have their own little echo chamber and sit and spout their rhetoric and whatever, and let them go on. Like they're not worth the time. They're not advancing. There's no way to advance the conversation or make any kind of progress whatsoever by engaging with people like this. And that's why I didn't give his name or his channel name or any of that here today, because he doesn't deserve it.
I will say something. Oh, sorry, alarm going
You're
off.
fine.
I will say something a little different. I think that it's okay to engage with them, but just realize that they're not honest interlocutors.
Yeah.
It's better to engage with them publicly so you can make an example of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of how not to be an interlocutor, because
Yeah.
I think Quirky is a good example of how not to engage with others and have honest conversations.
Yeah.
And he'll probably think that I'm just a troll for saying that, but Quirky, it's true, man. Like, you're the one that blocked me a long time ago. I challenge you to show any time where I said anything mean to you or vicious, Prove it.
Randy said there is room and need for multiple approaches. I agree with that, Randy, but some approaches aren't in good faith. And I don't know what you meant by that, but like
his whole channel is dedicated to being antagonistic and provocative and trying to expose he's on to us, you guys. He's on to us. He knows what we're about. But he doesn't really know what we're about, because I'm about like being an honest person, something that you clearly don't know how to fucking do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that and you know, for those that go and do whatever, I mean, like, I'm not telling anybody what they can and can't do. I'm just saying, like, if your goal is to have meaningful conversations, or I know a lot of people in our community think that you're like the only thing that they can do of value is to go and argue with Christians and stuff, and that's cool. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's great. I'm just saying, like, with people like this one particular one, he's not going to argue with you in any meaningful way. What he's going to do is he's going to hide your messages and misrepresent what you said, and just use it to call atheists in general names. So the more that people interact with him, the more damage they are actively doing to the atheist community. That's all I'm saying about it. I don't care if people do it, but that's the truth of the matter. I mean, like, it's you know, and I wouldn't ever, like, I'm not shunning anyone or telling people they can't go talk to whoever in whatever way they want. That's up to you. I'm not encouraging anyone to you know, be an asshole to anyone, first of all.
I know there's been a few people like him on YouTube that have come around and tried to antagonize the atheist community, and atheists try to interact with them politely for like the first month or so. And then like often you'll see that person's behavior change, where they become more antagonistic and more toxic and more dismissive. And then eventually the community just goes, you know, you're just kind of a joke. You're not really engaging with us honestly. We're just going to ignore you. And you will get placed on that shelf of theists that are ignored because they don't engage honestly with the other people that they're talking to.
Yeah. Nothing good. There's no good to come out of it is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like from someone who has interacted and given him chance after chance and this and that, there's like, until he fundamentally changes the way that he approaches it, there's not, you know, like, well, and if you think you can go get him to do that, go for it. But like, you know, I don't think that.
Well,
I don't think
here's the other thing that I would say to Corky too is, you know, when you act this way, you're setting. You don't think that there's other Christians that are going to come by and be like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah. I think he gets pushback from Christians too.
I think you do. I thought about just handing all your videos over to a Christian channel and letting them go at you.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to. I don't need to criticize you. I could let a Christian do it.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, there's plenty of them out there that would.
That's what we should have done while Jim Bob was here. Was DM'd him the address so that he could go talk to him.
He'd probably like Jim Bob. They'd probably be best buddies in like a week.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, probably. I don't know.
He'd be simping for Jim Bob.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been smoking. I haven't smoked since the beginning of the video, B. Giving me shit about smoking.
Yeah.
I am glad you're off drugs. What do you think gave you the strength to become clean? We can go into that some other time, B. I'll talk about that stuff though. I've talked about it before, but I'm going to end this so that Dave's video should be starting right about now, and everybody getting in there. So I'm going to end, and it will. I'll be on Dave's panel too. So if you want to hear more from me, I'll be over there in just a minute. So this will redirect everyone over there. So all you got to do is either sit and wait, or there'll be a little box that pops up and says, go ahead and send you there, and that'll do it too. But everybody's set to redirect there. If we need to talk more about this, we will, man. And we'll try to be a little more prepared and have it set up. And if need be, we can show clips and all that stuff and I
think it's okay. I think we handled it fine. I don't know. I mean, it's a little, I have more quotes here of him. I can gather more. It was a little difficult because I was gathering quotes from videos that he deleted, which meant that I had to like transcript them myself rather than from just YouTube. Because on YouTube you can just hit Control F5 or something like that, and you can see the whole transcript, right?
I think if we have to do a deep dive on him, that we can use that, and then because there's a lot to show, like where he says, "I don't say this about all atheists," but yet there's like 10
exact quotes of him saying that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so I think if there's if there's any blowback or pushback or
bro, you put it out there on a public forum. We have it. I downloaded it.
Yeah.
I have it. I captured it through OBS. I have a copy of it. Sorry.
And he didn't delete it. He didn't delete them. He just unlisted them because he still has.
No, he did delete some of them.
Oh, did he?
It says it's been removed. I don't know if that means it's deleted. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But who knows? If it doesn't matter.
I think he just unlisted a lot of them because it would affect his views and stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
But whatever. It doesn't matter.
If I was going to say something to Kirk, I'd be like, "Look, man, try putting yourself in our shoes for once and stop being a prick."
Yeah. Stop being an asshole. We were kind this time and didn't give out any of your channel name or show your videos or really get deep into it.
I was totally willing to just let everything slide, let it go. After we decided not to make the first video about him, I was like, whatever. Or the last video about him, I was like, whatever, it's fine. We can just let it go. Maybe he'll have a change of heart. Maybe he will stop posting such toxic, antagonistic, provocative videos online. Did he do that? Not really. No. So, we'll probably be back here again next week.
Probably. All right. Well, thanks to everybody that dropped in, and anybody that watches this later, thanks for coming. I'll be back on tomorrow with Purple Rhymes with Orange, but right now I'm going to redirect everybody over to Captive Death's channel for Saturday Night at the Atheist. It's going to be a good one tonight, so you should definitely tune in there. I'll see you over there in a minute, everyone. Thanks for coming on, Blaster Master. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
We'll do some more stuff here in the near future that isn't like this.
It's all good, man. This was fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.